Well, hi there. How's it going? How are y'all? How are y'all? Pronunciation is key and I'm lacking. So, forgot how squeaky this chair was. My jacket is so much a mess. So, have you guys been staying healthy? What have you been doing with your quarantine time? Right? What have you been doing? Are you keeping active? Are you keeping sane? Are you taking care of yourself? Is there any way that I can help? Let me know. So I am on a roll of filming book talks and tea. What kind of tea do you guys like to drink? What kind of books are you reading right now? Are you reading any good ones? Are you reading at all? Are you exercising your brain? Because that's important. I don't know why I'm so burpy. Oh my goodness. Oh. Ooh, hair's trying to get a little sassy with me today. It's been a day, y'all. My sleeve is looking a little... I'm just, it's one of those days. So today, we're going to talk about a childhood favorite. Growing up, my childhood home was kind of designed as like one long hallway with our bedrooms, right? So my bedroom was on one side, my brother's was on the other side. My parents were at the end of the hall. And before we would all go to sleep at night, my mom, or my dad even, would sit in the hallway with a nightlight and read us books. We read a lot of the Magic Treehouse series that way. We read Aragon that way. We read The Tale of Despero. We read the My Father's Dragon series. We read Magician's Nephew and Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe. We might have read Prince Caspian, but I don't remember. I think we read another one. I don't remember, but I know that we also read Inkheart. And so this is a wonderful book because reading it brings back the memories of my mom reading it and hearing her voice say the words. And so it's a wonderful childhood book for me. A while ago, my mom gave me a bag of books to read. And I grabbed this one because every time I'd go over to her house, because I'm married, I would sit down and read this. And so I threw it in the bag to read. Let me backtrack a little bit here. I love books about books. That feels a little redundant, doesn't it? Like, it feels a little ridiculous. But I have always, from as long as I can remember, thought that books were magical and that books possessed. Oh, now there's something in my eye. I am possessed. What is that? Come out here, you. Okay. Possessed some kind of incredible magic, that they themselves were sacred entities, because truly storytelling is a magic in and of itself, right? If you can create this whole world and these characters and capture people with it as you're telling, then there must be some kind of magic in it. And the cool thing about Inkheart is it takes this idea of a book about a book and amps it one more and says, hey, what if you could read out loud? What if you could read a book out loud and the characters from that book would come join you in reality? And I was like, I want that ability. I want to be able to read a book and have the characters from, like, I don't know what books I was reading at the time. Like, Princess and the Bride. Nope. The Princess Bride. Come visit me. Or Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine. I wanted her to come visit me. Harry Potter would have been really fun too. I wasn't reading Harry Potter at the time that Mom read this to me, but when I read it the second time, when I was a little bit older, I was. Yeah. So I loved that, and there were definitely times, I will admit, to being in my room, to opening up the book, some book, and reading out loud, hoping that I had the magic. So this book is focused on the book Inkheart. Yes, I know. Inkheart is the name of this book, but it's the name of the book that the book is about. The book is focused around Mo and Maggie. Mo is also referred to as Silver Tongue throughout the book because he has the ability to read characters out of the book. And one night he does that. His wife goes into the book, and the evil villain from Inkheart comes out of the book. And so thus begins the story of trying to save people from going into the book, while also trying to put Capricorn back, or stay away from Capricorn, or defeat Capricorn. We also run into a character called Dustfinger, who is quite endearing. The guy who plays him in the movie is very lovely. And we also run into Eleanor. I love Eleanor. Okay, but like, oh, I always forget her name. Helen Mirren plays Eleanor in the movie, and I don't know about you, but Helen Mirren is spunky and ridiculous. I love, the character that she plays in the Red movies is a heck and a lot of fun. And then she kind of takes on that same persona of Eleanor in the book, in Inkheart, and Dame Helen Mirren is wonderful. I also like the fact that she doesn't feel the need to do sex scenes anymore, and I'm like, girl, I adore you. Because not all good actresses have to do love scenes. Can we just say that really loud for the people in the back? You do not need to take your clothes off to be deemed a good actress. Plain and simple. So anyway, let me read the back of the book to you, like I always do. So, one cruel night, Maggie's father reads aloud from Inkheart, and an evil ruler named Capricorn escapes the boundaries of the book, landing in their living room. Suddenly, Maggie's in the middle of the kind of adventure she thought only took place in fairy tales. Somehow, she must master the magic that has conjured up this nightmare. Can she change the course of the story that has changed her life forever? Yeah, that's pretty much what I had said. I don't want to give any spoilers away. Like I mentioned, Mo's wife goes into the book. And so then, this is right after Maggie's born. And Maggie then kind of wonders all about her mom, like, as she's growing up, and asking all those questions, and Mo's just kind of like, she's not around anymore. Mo is a bookbinder, which I'm also really fascinated by bookbinding, because I would love to bookbind. There's, again, something beautiful about books and keeping their bindings intact. Like, ebooks are cool, audiobooks are cool, but please, let's not get away from the idea of holding a physical book in your hand and reading. My cat's a noisy book. So Cornelia Funk also wrote The Thief Lord, which was a movie as well, and Dragon Rider. Never read Dragon Rider. Inkheart is also the first in the Inkheart series. You also have Inkspell and Inkdeath, I believe. Inkspell, right, and then Inkdeath is the final one. What I also really appreciate is Cornelia Funk is German. So this original book was written in German. I don't spreche so Deutsch. But I love the fact that this was translated into English, and it takes place in Europe. There are no clear... Lake Como is, I think, the only thing mentioned near where Eleanor lives, and that's it. And I know that that's in Italy, but apart from that, there are no, like, city markings, names, nothing. You just kind of know it's in Europe somewhere, which I think is really cool. And if y'all know your geography, it could be Austria, it could be Germany, it could be Switzerland. I think the Czech Republic is right along there as well, right along the Italian border. So it could really be anywhere in Europe, and I love that because Europe is a great place for fairy tales, and so the scenery that you think of when you think of Europe is great for this story. Ooh. Where else do I want to go? Cornelia Funk, her writing is... It tells a good story. I wouldn't say that her writing is spectacular and worthy of all of the awards. Oh. I don't wear lip gloss often. This is a lovely lip gloss from Blossom, which is like an organic company. I got all of the perfumes for my bridesmaids for my wedding from there. But the reason I don't wear lip glosses is because I'm a cat lady and there's a cat hair stuck on my lip and I can't find it. The little hairy demon. I love cats. Don't worry. I'm literally obsessed with cats. So, Cornelia Funk writes lovely for the type of story that she's telling. It's a fast-paced story. And I remember years and years ago, we would get, like, disc books, audiobooks, really, and listen to them in the car. And one of the books that my family got, was one on Peter Pan. It was a beautiful story, beautifully written, but there were so many details that we lost track of the story. I don't remember it being a very fast-paced story either, but it was years ago. The cool thing about Cornelia Funk, her writing is not overly detailed. It's enough to set the stage and allows your mind to fill in all the other blanks, which I think is the mark of a good author. Somebody once said that a good author doesn't say everything, or describe everything. It's like you say and don't show. So you allow the reader to fill up some of the gaps of everything else that they're seeing. And so her writing is like, if she's talking about what a village looked like, she just says the buildings are all crumbly and the doors are open. And it allows you to kind of think of all of that. Which I think is really cool. Everything is not conversational. There's a level up from conversational. It feels like you're listening to or reading somebody telling a story that's focused on the story and not all of the individual details. I remember when I read this book for the first time. I didn't remember it so much when my mom read it to us, and I opened up to the best one. Each chapter starts with a paragraph from another book. This one just happens to be from The Princess Bride by William Goldman. And each paragraph or each section from another book kind of gives a glimpse into what that chapter is going to be about. And what was really cool is it allowed me to kind of be exposed to other books that I didn't know about, maybe would be from more European circles. So here's The Children of the Green No. I have no idea what that book is. The Borables Go for Broke. I don't know what that book is. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I know that one. Let me think. Ooh. Then here's one. Naphtali the Storyteller and His Horse, Seuss. The Arabian Nights are in here. That's an Arab proverb. The Sword and the Stone. Fahrenheit 451, which I have read. Good book. Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson. So there's each chapter starts with Oliver Twist, Watership Down, another Peter Pan. I'm not talking now. Each kind of chapter starts with a paragraph from another book. And so not only is it adding emphasis or some type of foreshadowing for the chapter to come, but I also really like that it was an opportunity for me to explore all these other really books. Let's just think on that one for a second. My brain, and I call myself a writer, right? Okay, so it allowed the opportunity for me to think about and discover all of these other really cool books and kind of get a glimpse into the books that Cornelia surrounds herself with. And it's so true that the more that you read, the more that you write, and or the better you write. And so writers that surround themselves with lots of books and lots of stories and lots of writing styles are bound to have really cool takes on writing. I mean, Victor Hugo, there's a wonderful line from Victor Hugo, not from Les Miserables, I don't think. And he says, a writer is a world trapped in a person. And to me, as a writer, that's kind of my mantra. Like, there's so many stories I want to tell from all varying different perspectives that I truly must be a world in my singular head. This book is fantasy. It's magical. It's personable. It's a story of courage. I don't know why I use the word personable, but it interacts with a lot of people. So my husband, who is not a reader, read the Aragon series and read the Inkheart series, which says something, doesn't it? It's a story of friendship, of courage, of Miggy at times I think can be a little whiny, but I also think that she's very courageous, and I think that she's very curious and she wants to know everything. I take a little bit of issue with Mo wanting to not tell Miggy anything, and I kind of get it. In the book, she's only 13. But also I think, hey, if you're in this situation that you've been trying to hide your daughter from for years, you might as well just tell her what's going on. Am I right? Am I right? Like, I'm right, right? I do have to say, I deeply enjoy the movie. I also appreciate Brandon Fraser. Obviously, a lot of people know him only as Tarzan. He plays a great Tarzan. Or George of the Jungle. That's who he is. Not Tarzan. But I also really appreciated him from the Mummy movies, at least the first two. The third one is not good. And by the way, Evie's not the same person, so obviously we know it's a totally different movie. And obviously you can't call it the Mummy anymore. And obviously, also, Tom Cruise Mummy? No. Mummy is Brandon Fraser. Mummy is Evie. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do, but you didn't do it. So, I like Brandon Fraser, and I think he plays a very good role of Mo. I think he does that very well. And Helen Mirren does a fantastical Eleanor. The end of the book just ties up in a way that's just beautifully mystical and fairy tale-esque. It kind of sits in a vibe that I would love to be able to create with my fantasy writings. Kind of the atmosphere. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this book. It's a book that I go back to quite a lot because not only is it nostalgic for me, but it's a fun story. It's one of those stories that just kind of will forever sit in me as this is the superpower I want. I want to be able to read characters out of books. So let me ask my standard questions. Have you guys read Inkheart? Have you read the series? Have you seen the movie? Do you like it? Do you have any books from your childhood that are like nostalgic for you? Yeah, I'd love to know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.